What's going on, guys? What's going on, Tech Squad? What's going on, everybody? So, Carmelo Anthony, there are rumors going on that Carmelo Anthony almost signed with the New York Knicks. And, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. If Carmelo Anthony stayed on the New York Knicks, like, let's look who he had on the New York Knicks when he played for the New York Knicks and when he got traded to the New York Knicks. He had Jeremy Lin, he had Sonmeyer, he had those two guys, he had Chauncey Billups as well. And I'm going to say this. Carmelo Anthony played for the Denver Nuggets, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Portland Trailblazers, and the Houston Rockets and the OKC Thunder. I'm going to say this. Now that now that there's rumors going on that Carmelo Anthony um almost signed with the New York Knicks, I'm going to say this. Like you would have the New York Knicks still have a good NBA still has a good Knicks team, still has a good NBA Knicks team because the Knicks have Julius Randle, um, Jalen Brunson, Devin Tinsley, Josh Hart, like, and now Mikael Bridges. I think adding Carmelo Anthony to that roster, I think that's good. I think that's good because I think that would be very interesting because if you add Carmelo Anthony, like Carmelo Anthony at the end of his career accepted his role for accepted his role on the bench for the accepted his role because Carmelo Anthony really didn't accept his role for the Rockets. He accepted his role when he got to Portland. He accepted his role when he got to he got to the Los Angeles Lakers. I think if you put Carmelo Anthony on that team, I think if you put Carmelo Anthony on this Knicks team, on this Knicks team now, they would have won a championship. I also think if the Knicks won a championship when Carmelo Anthony got traded there, I think they would already have a championship. But here's the thing. Phil Jackson wanted to trade Phil Jackson wanted to trade Carmelo Anthony. Phil Jackson really wanted to trade Carmelo Anthony because at the time, um, Phil Jackson liked to run the triangle offense, and I think Carmelo at the time Phil Jackson liked running the triangle offense, and if Phil Jackson never wanted to trade Carmelo Anthony, like if you trade like a Steph Curry, a Kevin Durant, a Bron James, um, you would say it's kind of not fair for Phil Jackson to like trade Carmelo Anthony because Carmelo Anthony will always get the respect from the New York Knicks fans will always will always get cheers from the New York Knicks fans. I think at the beginning of Carmelo's career, Carmelo Anthony wanted to be that guy because Carmelo Anthony was top five, top 10 in, in the league at the time, and he was one of the faces of the NBA and one of the stars of the NBA at the time. So if you if somebody like Phil Jackson really wanted to trade Carmelo Anthony, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to trade Carmelo Anthony? Because Phil Jackson, let's not forget, he coached Michael Jordan. He coached the great Kobe Bryant. I think if when you look at it, when you look at it, if Car- if Carmelo stayed on the Knicks, like he had Jeremy Lin, he had Spotlight. If he stayed on the Knicks, I would say Carmelo Anthony would have a different career. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame, and he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. I definitely think if you if you are able to get Carmelo Anthony at the end of his career to sign to the New York Knicks, I would say that's a good that's a good move for the New York Knicks. That's a good move for the New York Knicks, actually, because here's what I think that it would be very very interesting, very interesting to to see Carmelo Anthony retire a Nick because I'm about to get off topic here. We don't talk about like we see the generation of NBA players today, but we don't talk about Iverson that much. We don't talk about Iverson that much. We don't talk about Yao Ming that much. We talk about LeBron James. We talk about Steph Curry. We talk about Kevin Durant. But we don't talk about the players that paved the way for this generation of in for this generation of NBA players. We don't talk about the players that came before these generation players or the generation players before them. We don't talk about the generation players that that paved the way for these NBA players we see today. We talk about LeBron, how he passed Kareem. We talk about Steph Curry. We talk about Kevin Durant. We don't talk about more about Iverson or Carmelo Anthony or Yao Ming or about the great Bill Russell or any of those guys. We don't talk about how players before players, any player in any sport paved the way for this generation of players. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about how different players from different generations of sports paved the way. Like, we don't talk about when we look at the NBA, we don't talk about Bill Russell. We don't talk about Iverson that much. We don't talk about Carmelo Anthony. You know what I mean? We don't talk about those generation players or Michael Jordan. We talk about Michael Jordan more than Iverson and Yao Ming and the great Bill Russell. But we don't talk about how Yao Ming, Bill Russell, the great Bill Russell, the Carmelo Anthony or Iverson, we don't talk about how they paved a way for this generation of players. We don't talk about that. We need to start talking about how players from different generations of the NBA or of the sport paved the way for these generation of players that we see today. But it would be very interesting to see a lineup of a team of Jalen Brunson, Mikael Bridges, Josh Hart, Julius Randle, Carmelo Anthony. Because all the Knicks are missing is that free point shooter. Is that free point shooter. The Knicks are still a good NBA team. The Knicks are still a good NBA team. But guys, never give up your dreams. And I hope all of you guys are safe out there. And stay blessed, everybody. And peace.